The Misfits stand as one of punk rock's most enigmatic and distinctive entities. Emanating from the sleepy town of Lodi, New Jersey, in 1977, their journey is one of passion, controversy, and undying influence. The Misfits were initiated by Glenn Danzig, vocals, and Jerry Only, bass. Unlike their punk contemporaries, who often narrated the disarray of urban life or political unrest, the Misfits were enamored with the macabre. B-grade horror movies, sci-fi escapades, and suspense thrillers gave birth to tracks like Skulls and Vampire. While the 1970s punk movement, led by bands like the Ramones and the Sex Pistols, railed against societal norms, the Misfits were busy constructing their own dark universe. Their rockabilly-fueled punk sound, layered with Danzig's baritone, created a soundscape that was both haunting and catchy. The Misfits, at their core, were musical chameleons. They embraced the raw energy of early rock and roll pioneers such as Elvis Presley and the Everly Brothers and combined it with the rebellious spirit of the burgeoning punk scene. This melding produced a sound that was uniquely their own. The Misfits have undergone several transformations over the years, both in lineup and sound. While the band has been a staple in punk rock, the two most frequently discussed eras are the original Danzig era and the Michael Graves era. Let's take a look into each of these two distinct eras and compare and contrast each frontman. We'll start at the beginning, with the original founder and lead singer, Glenn Danzig.
Glenn Whitman, 88.
Glenn Allen Anzalone was born on June 23, 1955, in Lodi, New Jersey, later adopting the stage name of Glenn Danzig. The information about his early family life is not exhaustive, but his musical inclinations were evident from a young age. Before pursuing music, Glenn took photography classes at the New York Institute of Photography. However, his passion for music dominated his young life. As a teenager, he played in local garage bands, eventually leading to his more formal forays into the music world. He was heavily influenced by Elvis Presley and blues artists, which is evident in his vocal style. Before forming the Misfits, Danzig was part of several bands, including Who Dat and Boojang and Talus. His horror-influenced lyrics and themes can be traced back to his love for horror movies and novels. His voice can be described as powerful, gritty, and raw. His baritone range, combined with an unmistakable crooning style, sets him apart from many punk vocalists of his time. He draws inspirations from legends like Elvis Presley, but incorporates a darker and aggressive edge to it. Danzig's songwriting is iconic for its dark themes, invoking horror movies, campy imagery, and an otherworldly feel. Songs like Astro Zombies and Last Caress are pure punk anthems with an overlay of dark fantasy. He was really one of the first to hone in the ability to weave tales of horror into catchy punk anthems, and the following gained by the Misfits has been unrivaled by any other band in the horror punk genre since. One of the weaknesses of the Danzig era was that the rawness of the recordings sometimes led to a lack of clarity. And, over the years, Danzig has been known to have a strong personality, leading to disagreements with bandmates and other musicians. This eventually resulted in lineup changes and fallouts, most notably with original Misfits members. There have been incidents of physical altercations involving Danzig. One notable incident, captured on video in the 2000s, showed him getting into a confrontation with Danny Marianino of the band North Side Kings. The altercation ended with Danzig being knocked down. Danzig's history with the Misfits post-departure is fraught with legal battles, especially with bassist Jerry Only. They've had disputes over merchandising rights and royalties, which, to some fans, mar the legacy of the original Misfits lineup. Danzig's departure in 1983 saw him venturing into darker territories with Sam Hain and later Danzig. Some critics and fans didn't resonate with Danzig's shift to a more heavy metal and hard rock sound in his post-Misfits career, particularly with the band Danzig. Some believe that his music lost the rawness and edge that characterized his earlier work. The Danzig era of the Misfits is chock full of classic songs, so it's hard to pick which ones to represent, but I'm going to provide a few here that had a personal impact on me. London Dungeon was written from a real-life experience when the band was put in jail in, you guessed it, London. I first heard this song on a Toy Machine skateboarding video, and it blew my mind. That guitar riff just jumps out and stabs you, and the whole song really does make you feel like you're confined in a cell with the most treacherous of damp and dreary conditions imaginable. Skulls. Hearing someone sing They Want Weight, No, They Need My Skull was really, well, interesting, to say the least. And the fact that it was easy to learn on guitar was also a big plus. In fact, one reason I fell in love with the Misfits was because I could learn practically all of their songs on guitar. Hybrid Moments. There's just something about this song. I think it's the D sharp they go to in the chorus. Or is that the verse? I don't really know with this one. The whole song is just perfect from start to finish, though. Again, the list of amazing songs that Glenn wrote and sang on is mind-boggling. They're like the Creedence Clearwater revival of punk rock. Okay, so now let's take a look at Michael Graves' contributions to the band. While many purists were skeptical, the Graves era brought a fresh perspective to the Misfits' legacy. Albums such as American Psycho and Famous Monsters showcased a more polished sound while retaining their horror essence. Michael Emanuel was born on March 21st, 1975, in Dumont, New Jersey, later adopting the stage name Michael Graves. There isn't a plethora of public information regarding Graves' early family life. Still, it's known that he grew up in a working-class household and developed a passion for music early on. As a teenager, Graves played with local bands and developed his skills as a singer. He didn't have any significant non-musical work experience or education that was widely publicized before joining the Misfits, but I saw him perform an acoustic set one time, and he told us all in the audience a story about when he once had a job as an EMT. Could you imagine being rescued in an ambulance by the lead singer of the Misfits? He was discovered by the Misfits at a young age, around 19 or 20, when he auditioned for them. He was in a band called Mopes before joining the Misfits. His vocal style, more polished and melodic than Danzig's, led to a new direction for the band in the late 1990s. His tenure with the Misfits was marked by an evolved, metal-influenced sound that remains a subject of debate among fans. Graves has a cleaner vocal style compared to Danzig. While still maintaining a punk edge, his vocals are more melodic and polished, making them accessible to a broader audience. With the new era came a shift in songwriting, though still retaining the essence of horror punk. Tracks like Dig Up Her Bones and Saturday Night still maintain the eerie Misfits touch, but they possess a somewhat more commercial sound. Graves brought a freshness to the band, attracting new fans and making the band sound more mainstream friendly without losing its core identity. One can't discuss the two eras without noting the shift in the band's sound. While the Misfits under Danzig were more punk with a splash of rockabilly, the 1990s Misfits under Graves had a more metal-influenced sound. The guitars were heavier, and the songs were much better produced. His departure from the Misfits, though less tumultuous than Danzig's, still disappointed many fans. The reasons were a mix of personal differences and disputes, leading to some fans feeling he didn't have the same level of commitment to the band. Graves has been open about his political beliefs, which lean conservative. This has sometimes put him at odds with a punk scene that often aligns with more liberal ideologies. His open support for certain political figures and movements has been divisive among fans and peers. Some fans of the Misfits' Michael Graves era were not entirely on board with the musical direction he took post-Misfits. His solo work, while appreciated by many, is also seen by some as a departure from the raw punk sound they admired. Being the successor to a figure as iconic as Glenn Danzig was always going to be a challenging task. Many fans and critics often compared Graves unfavorably to Danzig, feeling that he didn't capture the same magic or intensity. While it's subjective, this comparison has sometimes overshadowed Graves' contributions. Here are just a few examples of Graves' most notable Misfits songs. American Psycho was the title track of their 1997 album. This song signifies the new direction of the Misfits in the Graves era. The heavy guitar riffs and more polished sound showcase the shift towards a more metal-inspired tone. Scream is an amazing song that the band had originally hoped would become a part of the movie Scream 2, though sadly this did not happen. The accompanying music video, however, was directed by George A. Romero, the legendary director of Night of the Living Dead, which further solidifies its place as a Misfits classic. The Haunting, embodying the eerie vibe that the Misfits are known for, The Haunting is a slow burn compared to the high-energy tracks from this era. It offers a moodier take on their horror-inspired themes. The Misfits' fingerprints are all over the music scene. Metal titans like Metallica not only covered their songs, but have repeatedly cited them as influential. Their blend of punk aggression with thematic horror has been a blueprint for countless bands. Recent years have witnessed reunion gigs with the original lineup, allowing fans to relive the magic of the early days. Their mark on the music industry is permanent, a testament to vision and authenticity. Whether you are Team Glenn or Team Mike, or if you're like me and love them both for different reasons, it doesn't matter. Because in retrospect, the Misfits weren't just a band, they were a movement. Their fusion of horror and punk, their undying commitment to their art, and their ability to evolve ensures that their legend will continue to grow, inspiring generations to come.